Hey there, Teal Hawks. Today we're going to do a review of the Milwaukee Fuel Impact driver. Obviously, as you can see, it's all beat to crap, which means it's a long-term review. I had it for about 3 years. It's very strong. It's very fast. In fact, if you give it to a helper and you're to put in deck screws, you're going to want to turn it down because they'll bury the screws too far. So it runs, it'll run just fine for, I don't know, probably about half a day on the little teeny tiny 2-hour batteries. But if you put in a 5-hour battery, it'll be a lot stronger. It's got 3 different speed settings on it. I always have it on 3, and then it has this other setting that looks kind of like a drill bit or something like that, and it's pretty useless. I don't use it. So I generally have it on setting 3. The ergonomics of it are really good. It's all really, really nice and short and stubby. Bits change out super easy. Now, in the 3 years that I've had this, I've put in probably about 50,000 screws and it's still alive. And when I bought this, it was my first tool that I bought when I switched over to Milwaukee from the rigid tools and I switched because I was killing a rigid impact driver after about 20,000 screws, which was about, I don't know, 1.5 years or something like that. And funny story with this, about 2 or 3 months after I got it, I was working on a boathouse deck and dropped it in a lake. And it was 15 feet under the water. I dove for it and got it and pulled it up and switched the battery out. It worked right away. It's still working pretty much 3 years later. And the battery I set aside to let it dry, and it actually came back about a week or two of sitting around doing nothing. It came back and worked again. So that's pretty awesome. It's extremely durable. I've dropped it off of pretty much everything. It's strong. So if you have structural screws, Timberlock, GRK, whatever you want to call them, it'll drive a 10-inch GRK with no problem. If you swap out socket adapter, it'll even drive lags in within reason. So all in all, fantastic tool. Absolutely worth all the money for it. And definitely recommend this tool. Nice thing about Milwaukee tools is that their warranty, you don't need to register. You don't need to jump through hoops. And the warranty is, if you don't have your receipt, they do the warranty off of the serial number, so that, and they'll go based on your serial number of your tool to determine how old it is. And if it's within the 5 years based on the serial number, and it breaks, it's covered under warranty. This one has not broken, which is pretty amazing because a contractor, you're pretty hard on your tools, especially since I worked in Muskoka. So I worked in rain and snow and all kinds of terrible conditions. It's been in mud and dust and dirt and everything. So it is getting a little bit tired, but it's still driving just fine, and that's what you need. It's got comes with this belt hook that It works all right, but I find it's small enough that I can just set it upside down into the pouch of one of my nail bags, and that works better. It's easier to grab, and it has a stupid bit holder, which if you needed something to hold a bit for one little job that you're doing, like you're going up on a ladder and need to have two different bits for something, then that it'll work fine for that. If you're just going to store it in here, store a bit in here as a long-term solution, you're probably just going to lose it. Overall verdict is absolutely, this tool is worth the money it costs. It's faster than those silly yellow ones, stronger than those silly yellow ones. It's not a cheap tool. If you're buying something for around the house that you're going to use occasionally, every once in a while, then you really don't need to spend this much money on an impact driver. But if it's something that you use every day or often, and if you're working in construction or doing anything like that, this is probably one of the most used tools. So definitely worth spending money on. Oh, that's the Milwaukee Fuel Impact driver.